Hey everybody, welcome back to the Centaur Fragrance channel. Thank you so much. Let me know, do I need to scoot this a little bit back? Do I need to do that? Keep me in focus, bodied a little bit. Okay, hopefully people will show in and I can see their comments all the time. Hopefully I don't have to press it every couple seconds with my finger. But I'm just going to let everybody keep, coming in, introduce what's going on here today. And of course, we're talking about Noeme Paris. If you haven't heard about this brand, they're just going to be coming into the USA. They're going to start having, have their fragrances and their perfumes more in physical stores in the USA. They're about to expand, I think, right after December or maybe early January, I think it is. They're really going to start to, really launching into the USA. So I am super excited to be able to talk with them and work with them. Of course, any brand who wants to work with me and get their name out there, get my nose on it, share it with y'all, share it with the fragrance world and the community. Perhaps you're interested in this fragrance and this brand, and it's just really exciting. They were very generous with me, and I have first impressions to share with, four samples, just about their whole line and the one fragrance they did send me. So this is super exciting, y'all. I think there's a lot of lives going on right now. Um, Perhaps that's why people are just trickling in. There's a lot of lives. There's some lives on Instagram. Maybe there's a few lives going on in the fragrance community right now. I always like to double check when I first get on YouTube, and I didn't see any lives on right now. So if there are any, I'm sorry about that. Is anybody here? No, nobody's here yet. Okay, so somebody keeps popping in and out super fast, super quick. Hello there. Who's here in the live chat today? Let's see. How's everybody doing? What's your scent of the day, my friends? How are you doing? We're gonna be talking about Noeme Paris. Let me know. What's your scent of the day? What are you wearing? What are you doing out there in the world of fragrance? Please forgive me. In the background, there's somebody hammering something awful hard. Maybe they're a blacksmith. There's not a blacksmith around here. I don't know. Anyways, there's been a lot of construction, a lot of noise, and that's one reason that I've been doing more of my videos inside. But today, I really wanted to get outside, let y'all see some of the scenery, and of course, we got these beautiful fragrances, perfumes, and colognes to talk about. Amazing fragrances. So, I see one person there. If you want to help me out, maybe it'll attract other people. Maybe YouTube will let other people know. Please give me a like and see if that helps me. I really don't know if that helps me in live chats. I hope it does. Maybe it does. Let me know. I'm not seeing anybody commenting yet. I don't want to really start and dive into these fragrances yet unless I know people are here, people are involved, and then we're ready to go. I want to see, get a few more people in the house, open that conversation. You know, have y'all heard of the House of Noeme Paris? They're not. There's very few, people in the USA who really know about them, who have really tried them. They don't really have any distribution or any store locations in the USA yet. So they were very generous and wanted to get the word out, and that's one reason they're working with me is because they're going to launch in the near future, and they want to get the word out. Okay. I see two people here. If you're just stopping by my channel, I'm Centaur Fragrance. I talk about all things fragrance related, perfumes, and all of that. If you want to help me out, please give me a like. See if we can't get some people in here. What's your scent of the day? What are you wearing? What are you smelling? What are you enjoying? I'd love to get that conversation started. Get everybody involved. Ray Ford is in the house with, Swift Sense and all that. Fantastic guy. I'm so glad that you're able to stop by, my friend. Hey, Ray. So we're about to start this. Have you heard about Noeme Paris? I didn't know much about them until I looked up the brand and reached out to them, and I saw that maybe they were wanting to launch into the USA. I was curious about the brand, and then things just turned, on the good side. Things just worked out in a beautiful way, and hopefully, more things like this would happen. So very grateful today to introduce this brand to y'all. And this isn't a full-length review. This is first impressions. Y'all saw the title. I haven't smelled any of these. Sometimes when I do first impressions, I do have to smell them when I first get them. I'm so tempted, but I promised the brand that I would do an unboxing, and then I immediately just wanted to do first impressions because I'm so grateful and I'm so happy because this is the first time I've ever collaborated with a niche brand. I've worked with great brands like Happy Land, Fragranza, Babylon Fragrances, and a number of other brands, Sensual Obsessions, and other brands who were generous enough to work with me. But this time was the first time I've ever worked with a niche brand, and I'm excited for this, y'all. Excited, so happy. This is one of a big kind of a big moment, and I think in my fragrance journey, and I'm very excited. So excited. Ray says a mix of El Aventure and Saint Bart's. Hey man, you're wearing those crisp, bright, citrusy fragrances. Is it hot where you are? Is it a beautiful summertime? That's pretty fun, If you want to liven it up and be happy, man, you can rock a summer fragrance in the winter and have a fantastic time. It's beautiful. Let's see here. I'm looking forward to hearing about it. Might be something to look into. Yeah, this is exciting. So far from the presentation, it looks beautiful, and I promise y'all, I haven't smelled any of these yet. Rod Me says Lumiere Noir, and Mason Francis Kurjan. Oh, yeah, I've heard of that one. I'm not sure if I've tried the Noir. Most of their brands, Francis Kurjan fragrances, usually are very nice. And for me personally, they're kind of on the mass appealing side. Not as much as Creed, I don't think, but quite expensive. But most of their fragrances are pretty nice. I can't say anything bad about most of them. Everybody loves that, what is it, Oud Satin Mood with that jammy sweet rose. I can't stay long. I'm finishing up at the gym. Oh, I understand, Rod, but thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully everything's going right, bulking up, getting strong, for the holidays. That's what we all need to do. We need to, stay fit instead of just, eating all the time and becoming hibernating polar bears, or grizzly bears. Ray says, I wish, but I'm sitting at the house wishing I was at the beach. Yeah, man, fragrances are so powerful. They can bring you to a place, fragrance memories, and they can really help you feel in the mood. Get yourself a nice coconut drink. Maybe you have the ingredients. Make yourself a pina colada, man. Live it up. Do what you want to do. Okay, everybody. If you, I think there's 4 people here. Please give me a like. I'm not sure if that helps with YouTube, but I want to see if it does. I want to really test it and see if that helps, get more people to see my content. And I very much appreciate all of y'all who are here. But y'all know that I do a lot of work, and I have over 200 videos now. I've done an awful lot of work on this channel, and it's sometimes hard to get that ball rolling, to get the momentum. And but just help me out if you want to, if you want to help me out. Okay, Ray. I bet you smell great, though. Let's jump into these fragrances. Hopefully, we can, hopefully these are going to be amazing. The presentations are beautiful. I don't know. You said I was a tease earlier. I thought about just doing something that would be a big tease again, showing the full presentation, and then, sharing the samples first. I don't know if you'd like me if I did that to you, Ray. I don't know. That might be too much teasing for for one evening. Okay, let's talk about this fragrance, or these fragrances. And if you haven't been on my Instagram, I uploaded the quick video just like I did on my my Facebook group. I'm on Instagram. I'm Centaur_fragrance. I share all kinds of giveaways, all kinds of content, and it's a real blast over there. So if you want to see more regular, like photos and content, Facebook groups are nice. They're kind of more private. I just like Instagram better. There's a big community. You can connect to people rather quickly, and it's a lot of fun. So let's jump into the first one. This is called Etitlan. Now, a lot of these fragrances are inspired by locations, places in the world, and I think specifically different types of countries. Again, you 4 people in the house, if you'd like to, please give me a like. Help me out. Let me read to you the description of this fragrance. I think I'm going to do that for each one of these because I'm just introducing to myself really to these fragrances just like you. So first it says, enter the earth, enter under the earth. Imagine these ramifications of forces, these encounters of smells. this unprecedented fermentation of uh, pneumonia, alluviums, crystallizations, vegetations, transformations. So we're getting like caves. We're going underneath the ground, and a lot of fantastic, mysterious stuff, and like crystals, and that lead to the creation of the most diverse realities, from the diamond to the hummingbird, from the blue lily and Persian springs through the rocks of pure sulfur of Iceland, and up to the edge of the world on the flank of the volcano Atitlan. So this is a volcanic fragrance, but it has all supposed to have all kinds of dimension to it. It's supposed to be really interesting and artistic. It sounds like it might have some aquatic nature to it. It might be earthy. It might be just a really interesting fragrance. Something a lot more than just like a leather aquatic. So we're gonna test this baby out. I promise y'all, I haven't sprayed these and I haven't tested these yet. So, okay, yeah, it is a almost like a ambrette like fragrance, like a fresh, earthy, light. I can see where they're going with the volcanic, but this is very easy to wear. It's kind of a tan fragrance. This is very well blended. It's pretty universal, but it still has its own character. Um, I really like the aquatics here, and I really don't like aquatics too much because they have too much cologne, and they can be quite aggressive in that way. Um, this one is interesting, but it's really nuanced. I can tell that this fragrance is going to go pretty light over time. It's going to become kind of musky, and it's for a niche fragrance. It's going to be very easy to wear. It's going to be like a Creed, something that's very easy to wear. Something like some of those, Aqua Universalis, those kinds of fragrances. So it's nice. It's tan. It's kind of volcanic. It has a really nice, like really light, stone-like character to it. It's hard to describe. It's a very creative fragrance. It does have a little bit. They said icy, so I'm getting that in my head. Maybe an icy kind of almost like mint quality. So it's a cool fragrance. It's a cool aquatic with a kind of an earthy overtone. If you really like those aquatics with leather nuances, this is quite a good fragrance. So for you guys, and it's very inoffensive and mass appealing. But I mean, it's interesting. It's a lot more wearable. It's not as artistic and daring as I thought it might be. Let in the comments below. Let me know what's your scent of the day. What are you wearing? Please give me a like if you'd like to support me. And I'd really like to see if having a bunch of likes would help me, on my YouTube here. Anyways, the first one that was Atiklan. I think that's how you say it. If I can get it to focus with all the light here. Anyways, quite a good fragrance. We're kind of aquatic and easygoing though. Anyways, let's see here. This is Devin Part. This is the next one, y'all. If I can get that to zoom. Okay. Let's talk about this fragrance. This is super exciting, y'all. Super crazy, super fun. So, it says, why everything rather than nothing? Close your eyes and go back in time in this inconceivable immensity. All that is not impossible finally happens. And in a unheard of flash, matter was a fundamental luminescent particle made of azure, vermeil, and gold spring forth. Imagine its beauty, its irresistible power and attraction. It attracts all those floating in the great quantum vacuum. She binds them together in a tiny fraction of a second, then faints. It was the boson of Higgs. If y'all know what that is, please let me know. I'd be very curious to know. I have no idea what the boson of Higgs is. I'm going to Google that after this. It says the particle of God, the right answer to the wrong questions. Life is not a miracle. Awesome. So everything has a purpose. A very creative brand. They're taking a lot of bold inspiration to this brand. The creation of everything, planets, universe. Quite an interesting brand here. How's everybody doing this evening? Am I enchanting y'all? Is that why y'all aren't commenting too much? let me know. So divine part, so the divine part. Um, Here we go. This is nice. It has kind of like a white floral nature. It's kind of reminding me of a what is that brand called? The Harmonist. If you haven't tried out the Harmonist and you like really light, inoffensive fragrances that are very well done, you got to check them out. I think I liked Noble Earth and Metal Matrix the most. I'm gonna have more reviews of them coming soon too. All kinds of content. I promise y'all, I have niche and I have brands, and I'll talk about the stuff even if it doesn't get me the most views. I'll talk about the stuff no other reviewers won't talk about, because there are all kinds of artistic, great fragrances and great experiences for y'all to smell out there. And I have oils coming. I want to give away, and I'm working with a brand, and I have oils coming. So I have all kinds of things, and the incense, and the real oud tars. You know, not everybody talks about that stuff. Anyways, this is a really interesting, almost white floral-esque fragrance. It has a metallic edge to it, but it's not disturbingly metallic. And this white, almost floral character to this fragrance isn't like any other white floral esque or kind of fragrance that I've ever smelled. Very interesting. It's drying down to almost a interesting fabric type smell. It's not flannel. It's not wool. It's certainly not cotton. Um, I don't know. It's drying down to be quite a light fragrance. I think like the other, pretty inoffensive, kind of a safe scent as far as not being projecting heavily. You could definitely get away with wearing something like this in the office, but you would still smell very interesting. I feel like if you're a Japanese person who likes more, personal scents, I think that you would really like this, just like the Harmonist. There's different fragrances for different people. A lot of people in the U.S. like really heavy fragrances like Dior Sauvage. They like Beast Mode. They like fragrances that project out for feet. If you're that kind of guy, if you're a younger guy, and I'm not turning you on with these fragrances, go for your Ultramall, go for your Invictus. Nothing's wrong with it if that's what you like, if that's what you want to do. But this is a whole different world here. We're getting into a whole different aspect of fragrance. So, very interesting. And I talk about everything. Nothing against the designer fragrances. Nothing against them. Ray says, "I'm not saying a thing until I see the presentation." Do you want to see the full presentation first, and then I talk about the samples? Is that what you want? Because I can do it. Is that what you want? I wanted to do the build up. I guess the suspense. Okay, it's my thing. Okay. I wanted to save it for the last, if that's okay. Anyways, this one's called Abyss, and I love the name of Abyss. Um, Ray says that's cool. Okay, thank y'all, all of y'all. Is that 7 people? All 7 people? And again, please give me a like if you want to help me out. Anyways, and I don't know who's in here. Does it let me know who pops in here? Like Instagram, I get to see who pops in here, and I wish I knew. Who knows who's here? But then you're not commenting. Anyways, this one says, "Leaning to the wells of the great dizziness, flush with the perfume of the abyss. A endless story, a bottomless faith. From dark comes a imperious perfume, black, orange, abstract." So I'm going to do full reviews, of course, of these fragrances in the future. I'm just introducing these. I really don't remember many of the notes, except for a few of the notes of the full-size bottle, the full presentation that I decided to go for. Um, this was a while ago when I looked into this brand. And, you have so many fragrances and so many things in your head, trying to remember them all. Um, I like this. Maybe, I don't know. I might regret, and I might want to go for this one. Okay, so it's again with the abyss, with like a deep, dark, like a trench in the ocean, very dark, deep. Um, it's kind of like an aquatic. It almost has some soft floral aspects, but then it comes through with that dark, smooth, almost like that universally smooth, almost like dark patchouli in some fragrances, or maybe like a kind of like a black leather. Um, and it has a little bit of like a veracity. It's like something lurking. If you ever have thought of like the ocean with something deep and dark in the ocean that's just lurking, it makes me think of that. This is a great fragrance. They captured that emotion very well. So it has like a deep dark leather. It's kind of an aquatic. It's still quite a mellow fragrance. You know, easy to wear, universal. It's not going to be a projection beast. It's not going to be a beast mode fragrance, but I quite like this one. Abyss is great. I tend to like those smoky, dark, woody fragrances. And I like spice too. I like oriental, leathery spices, and I like gourmands sometimes. Of course, I love oud, and I gotta check out the notes of this one because I quite like that one. That's a nice fragrance. The Abyss, kind of like a dark, almost dark, masculine, aquatic fragrance. Um, Let's see here. Marcus says, "Hey everyone, hi Ben, how are you doing? How's your day? What are you wearing today? What's your scent of the day? Let me know. I'm lucky enough that this nightlight is working for me and really making this picture look nice instead of me being in the dark. So this is quite nice. Thank you, light." Ray says, "Evening." So I don't know who that is. Hopefully, it won't disturb me. Um, let's talk about the next one, y'all. This one's Nika. Nika? It's says, "Emerge from the chaos, a forest of silver pillars slumbers in the hollow of a crystal cave, and the black field dazzled with darkness. It's patiently inscribed in the infinite, some mysterious algebras." So interesting brand. They're not, they're taking punches with their creativity and their inspiration. So let me see that again for a second. Again, with the crystal cave, special pillars, something infinite, maybe like inspired by, was it like the sacred geometries? Maybe that's what they're going for. Okay, this one's a little bit more floral. It has almost like a little bit of nuttiness, a tiny bit of spiciness. It's a little bit more dry, but it's interesting. The florals here aren't overdone. I am sensitive to florals, especially yellow florals, yellow aldehydes. I tend to not like those fragrances that are overtly yellow in tone. And this one's not bad, but it's not something that I would lean towards. The Abyss is something that I'm crazy about. I'm doing a live over. Okay, so nice fragrance, interesting, no doubt, but not for me. But it's quite interesting. This one's a little bit happier. This one's a little bit more of a summer fragrance. Um, Again, quite close to the skin, quite inoffensive, quite easy to wear, universal. They might be going for that kind of that Creed thing because a lot of people are crazy about Creed. A lot of people love how wearable they are and interesting they are. But if you're a really big, deep niche head, you might want something more dark, something more complex, avant-garde, hard to wear. This is not that kind of brand. This stuff is pretty easy to wear. Um, let's see here. Marcus says, "Scent of the day is my perfumes to buy. Rustic oud." I'll have to look into that one. Sounds gorgeous. Marcus says, "Yellow floral notes are more suitable for a woman." I feel that way personally, but of course, everybody has different opinions on fragrances and notes, and with gender, especially these days. But I feel that way traditionally about yellow florals as well. They don't work for me very well. I actually smelled, I think it was Cap Neroli by Parfums de Nicolai. It's a well done fragrance, but it's a little bit green, and it's a heavy white floral fragrance. And I actually got quite a bit of that, and I decided to decant it and end up just passing it on and handing it off to my mom. And she actually quite loves the fragrance and very happy about it, but not for me. Okay, y'all ready for the final presentation? Are y'all ready for the full size bottle, which y'all probably been waiting for the whole time? Please give me a like if that's what you're into. Again, maybe I should pace these out longer. I don't know. I just wanted to get a little bit of feedback. I would love for there to be a little bit more conversation going on. I've But anyways, let's jump into the presentation here. So first off, it's going to come in the box. It's going to be like this. It's a very nice box, a full-size presentation. Something you would expect from a niche brand, a high-end niche brand. Very nice. Let's look at it here. And you get the side. You can see it's going to open up like a box. I'm being careful with it. And there you go with the back of it. And there you go on the top. Reminds me of YSL. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the boxes of the YSL's niche line. I think y'all just picked up Kaftan, didn't y'all? If I remember right, Kaftan. I'm not sure how exactly you say that. Anyways, this is the inside of it. This is the one inspired by Africa with spices and leather and all kinds of goodness. So this is the one I had to choose. I quite like my leathery, spicy fragrances, and I really like that kind of nature and that uniqueness. There's African Leather by Memo and a few other ones that I really liked. I really like Timbuktu by El Artisan. I think it's perhaps the best value for money out there if you want a spicy, incensey, leathery style kind of fragrance like that with a lot of resins like frankincense and myrrh. It's gorgeous. But I had to choose this one. I'm always looking for another one. I always have to try another one. Marcus says good presentation. Yeah, it's a very nice presentation. Ray Ford says tuxedo and Caban. Caban, that's how you say it. Anyways, yeah, tuxedo's amazing. Tuxedo's great, and Cuba Nose is the one that put us all onto that fragrance, I think. Anyways, here's the full size presentation. I'm just okay. It's gonna stay. It's not gonna slip out on me. I'm just being uber careful. I haven't even smelled this yet. Anyways, that and if y'all didn't see, with the ring on top, they're kind of connecting that the eternal kind of snake, that kind of mythos, which is Viking. If y'all don't know about that, it's kind of like the world snake, and it's really interesting, like real Celtic mythology. Thor, I think, fights it at one point, and I quite like that. I really like that symbolism. So let's see. I'm trying to read the messages. Now I want one. Very nice. Yes, it's a very nice presentation. I haven't smelled it yet, so we're about to smell it, guys. Very nice presentation. Very happy to have it. It's going to make my collection look a whole lot better. I'll tell you that. Okay, so let's jump into it here. Let's see what it's on. This is going to go on skin for sure. Here's the bottle, y'all. It's beautiful stuff. Very happy that they worked with me. Oh, man. And it's a heavyweight cap. People talk about liking. They like heavyweight caps. This one isn't extremely heavy, but it's definitely got weight to it. And I really like how smooth it doesn't click into place, but I like the tension on it. I like the feel of it. So it has some writing on here. See if I can't read that. Fantasy is more important than knowledge. That's a bold statement as well. Quite a bold statement. Let's see if this is the same thing on the other side. No, it says... Oh, it's in French. Okay. Anyways, it says the same thing in French. So, this is a 3.3 ounce, 100 mil. I think it's an EDP made in France. Let's spray it, guys. Let's see what this fragrance is all about. Okay, it's a little dry. It has a little bit of this spicy nature to it. Definitely what you would expect. It smells quite cedary to my nose, but it's like a spicy cedar. Like if you had cedar that was like stored and with spices, like dry spices, like a spice cabinet made of cedar. It's quite dry. It's quite spicy. This one is more intense than the others. This one is definitely going to perform better than the others. I'm not sure if it's nutmeg. Whenever I smell a certain nuttiness, like a nuance that's kind of nutty and kind of smooth and quite dry, I usually makes me think of nutmeg. I don't remember all the notes off the top of my head. Again, full-length reviews are coming, y'all. This is really interesting. Nothing else out there is like it. It is still quite a subtle fragrance, but this one is going to perform better than the others, I think. I really like that Abyss, though. That one's nice, too. Um, so it's nice. The kind of aggressive edge to the spiciness is going away, and it's kind of leaving more of a smooth cedar wood smell. So the spices are subduing, and then the other qualities to this fragrance are coming out. More of the leathery nuances. I'm really gonna have to get back with you, of course, with full length reviews of all of these fragrances. This is going to be a very smooth, light, leathery fragrance with the spices are really going to be underneath it all. And this fragrance does have a tiny bit of a very light, fresh, smoky overtone, like a fresh spices that are like roasted in a pan. If y'all have ever done that for Oriental cooking or more Eastern cooking, when you really heat up the spices in the pan before you use them, kind of like especially when you make something like a curry, it's definitely the way to go is to roast and toast them just a tiny bit in the right way. But very nice fragrance, very interesting. I have not smelled anything like this really before. Um, I don't have a lot more I think I could say about it. I'm on my phone here, so I can't exactly look up the notes for y'all. But it's dry and it's definitely spicy. Interesting. I'm not sure if I'm gonna grow into this fragrance or not because it has that distinct spiciness and that dry spicy that I usually don't lean towards. I just have to be honest with y'all, but it's a good fragrance. It's well made. It's gonna be a little bit softer of a projector, a little bit of a soft fragrance. I'll see. I'll see what the dry down is like later on. But again, this is my first impressions of these fragrances. We'll see what the dry down is like. Again, I am super grateful to Naomi Paris for sending this my way, for collaborating and working with me. Again, they're trying to get the name out that they're about to put more distribution, have more fragrances available in the USA. They've mostly been located in Europe, but I think about early next year or next year sometime, they're going to turn around and have these and probably place expensive niche houses, not houses, brands, companies like Barney's and Neiman Marcus and all those luxury places that you might go and test these. So you might be able to get and test these, in the near future and smell these for yourself. Um, Again, I'm starting to lean more personally towards indie niche or indie at all. More really artistic fragrances, really bold fragrances. I tend to like fragrances that are really smooth, a little bit heavier, a little bit denser. These are quite on the light side of the fragrance, but they're very wearable. And that's why a lot of people like these fragrances. They go for wearable fragrances. They go for fragrances that they can wear every day and not worry about it all season. Signature scents. Some people actually, it might be shocking. I'm sure y'all know, but in the fragrance world, some of us might have 100 bottles. Some of us might have 500. A lot of everyday people, they have one, two, maybe three fragrances, and some don't even have any fragrance. But they're gonna find one fragrance and just wear it, and then maybe buy the same fragrance, or maybe find another fragrance from the same house and keep wearing that fragrance for a very long time, maybe the rest of their life. Some people are really dedicated out there. There's definitely people who do that with things like Dior Fahrenheit. So, my final thoughts on the house is that they're kind of like the Harmonist. If you haven't checked out the Harmonist, I would encourage you to get out there. They're both, this and the Harmonist brand are quite futuristic. They're quite light and interesting and playful, but they're still very wearable and approachable. And somebody on the street, when you pass them, would be able to understand the fragrance. And it's not going to scare anybody on the street. You're not going to be off putting or daring, but you are going to be slightly interesting. There are aquatic or light kind of overtones to all of these fragrances, really. There's no doubt about it. So if you're uber into niche, if you're into dark fragrances, especially if you're a oud head, if you're crazy about dark, complex, rich fragrances, this probably isn't for you. But this is a good brand nonetheless. I do think that they're good. There's brands out there like Bond Number 9, and I really don't like a lot of Bond Number 9, but there's people who buy them and people who like them. So I'm trying to be objective, and I'm trying to see different points of view from all angles, and really just represent the fragrances for what they are, which is art. This is art. Everybody has a different way of sharing their art. There's 1,000 different ways to paint a painting, and a different hues, different ingredients, methods, everything. So this is art. I do appreciate the brand. I am very grateful that they were able to reach out to me, and reach back to me. I reached out to them after just wanting to learn about the brand, and figure out what their brand was all about, seeing if they wanted to work with me, and I'm so grateful that they were willing to. Again, the fragrance I got was Kalahari, and the spiciness has gone away. I like this fragrance a lot more. It smells more of an ambrette fragrance now, and I'm crazy about ambrette. So I'm actually beginning to love this fragrance already, and I'm just not saying that. Okay, says Marcus says nice cap. Not sure what you mean by that. Harry says look quite. I don't know, you're a tease, man. You're crazy. Ray says can't wait for it to become available in the USA. Yeah, they're coming to the USA. Do you know the price range? I'm trying to remember what they were like. When I do my full length reviews, I'll let y'all know. I'm trying to remember the details. I think they were 200-ish. I'll let y'all know when I do reviews of each one of these fragrances. But they are upper, but they're not Creed prices. They're not as high as Creed with 400. And, things like Creed Viking. When Creed Viking released, it was 550. And nobody batted an eye. So I guess there's a market for a lot of these brands. And there wasn't anybody really complaining at Creed when they first released Creed and they were charging $550. People really weren't complaining about it. I put my voice out there a little bit, but there's people will pay for certain things that they like. Luxury goods. So fantastic brand. If you're in the house, Naomi, any of your representatives, anybody who maybe you're even the perfumer, I don't know who's watching right now. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for working with me. I'm just a down home guy who wants to make it to a better place in life, and this is a big step I feel for me. I've never been sent an actual bottle of niche before, and I'm not trying to rub this in any other reviewers' noses. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just very grateful, and this means a lot to me. It does. It made my day. It's going to make my week. It might make my month. So thank y'all so much, all my subscribers, all of you loyal 8 viewers there. Again, please share this video. Lately, a lot of my content hasn't been getting a lot of views. I don't know why it is. When that COPA thing started to hit, I don't know if it's affecting other reviewers. Some reviewers are saying it's not going to affect them. But just like with anything algorithm-wise with YouTube, things do seem to change. And I've been struggling, but I'm going to be pushed forward and do my very best. So thank y'all so much. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart, wherever y'all are out there. I appreciate you. These have been my honest opinions. I'm always honest, even if I do get something for free. And I won't accept anything, any other way. If the brand doesn't want me to be honest, I just won't work with them. And I haven't had a brand so far who's like, this is what you have to say, and this is our guidelines, or here's your, your speech, and you have to speech and say these things. I've never had that happen so far. Maybe some brand in the future might try it. It won't work. I just have to put that out there. I do have to say that for the money, there aren't really any bottles available anymore. If you were familiar with Zegna's private line, Zegna had an exclusive line, and most of their fragrances are $200 to $300 as well. But for some reason, there was a couple of them that slipped through the cracks, and people just weren't buying them, and they were liquidated. And boy, were they liquidated! If you like the sound of this fragrance with a smooth ambrette leather, very smooth and easygoing leather, easy to wear, quite a unisex fragrance with kind of like a spicy overtone, kind of like some smooth woods in the dry down. If that sounds good to you, check out Peruvian Ambrette. If you can still get a bottle for around the $50 range, you'll be blown away by the quality and the price. I got mine for about $50. If you can find that deal anymore out there, that was a special deal. I don't. That's one of the best deals that I've ever gotten. And sometimes Carnar Barcelonas as well are liquidated, and I don't know why. You can sometimes find bottles of Carnar Barcelona. Like I bought Amber del Sur for like $50 for a full size bottle. A full size bottle of Carnar Barcelona for $50. Blown away. Anyways, this is a good brand. A really nice presentation. It's going to look beautiful on my bookcase. Y'all know that bookcase probably by now. Let me see if there's any more comments, and I'm going to wrap this up. Says, congrats on the collab, Ben. Interested to smell this brand in Europe. Yeah, Marcus, if they're available to you, if you're able to find this brand, let me know what you think about them. Go out there and test them. They're quite light. Again, for the Beast Mode American people who like sweet fragrances, who like more gourmand fragrances, I don't know how this would work over, but a lot of people like Creed, even in the USA, a lot of people are crazy about Creed fragrances. So if you like Creed, if you're crazy about Creed, you might just like this stuff. Michael says it's awesome. Marcus says you're a legit reviewer, bent always honest for your viewers. Yeah, it's like I could hype up this brand. I could say they were the best thing ever made. I could say that this brand, you should go out there and seek them out and buy them. I could hype them up, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna be honest with you all about what I think. I love your videos. Thank you, Michael. Marcus says, yeah, wow, yeah, great deal. And yeah, and Ambrette's not cheap, and not a lot of fragrances focus on Ambrette. So if you like those light, tan, leathery nuances in a fragrance, it's very wearable. Check out Ambrette. It's a beautiful note, and when I get to become an individual reviewer, I'm going to be using that note for sure. And I don't know if brands and perfumers out there focus on brands, if they focus, not brands, but reviewers, if they probably do spy a little bit out there. I remember I was on a live with Fragrance Runner, and Fragrance Runner talked a good long while about the note of pumpkin. And there are, I think, one or two indie brands, small indie brands, that not a lot of people know about. One of them is Alchemia. If you don't know about Alchemia, check them out. They have beautiful fragrances, and I have one brand that's willing to work with me. One of those interesting indie fragrances that are definitely worth your money. And Alchemia hasn't really worked with me yet, but I did buy with my own money Traveler and the Moon, which is gorgeous. But as far as a pumpkin fragrance goes, there's one called Vixen, and that one is a fantastic Halloween pumpkin seductive fragrance, especially for the ladies. So I never want to feel like the ladies are left out. And you guys, if you're looking for a gift for your lady, Vixen is beautiful. It's gorgeous. I just have to put that out there. Let's see. Haven't seen them in Dusseldorf, Germany. Yeah, I think their distribution's quite limited. I don't think they're in a lot of stores yet. Maybe if you have a trusted brand that you know of in Dusseldorf, if you know somebody pretty well, maybe ask them if they know about the brand. Ask them if they've heard about them, if they have any plans to get the brand, or if the brand is gonna become accessible anytime soon. Michael says, awesome reviews. Thank you, my friend. I always try to do my best for y'all. I care about the viewers, and I care about giving you honesty and helping you find those good fragrances. Free things are amazing. A lot of people really don't like it. Maybe they think I'm bragging. Maybe they don't like it that I get anything for free. But I'm always honest with y'all. And I only accept free things because I'm not Mr. Moneybags. I don't have a really deep pocket, and this really accelerates things. And I also think that it's kind of a goodwill, and it's kind of an influencer thing to do, really. But you can be a honorable influencer. You can be a person who shares and markets. I don't know why in the fragrance community, this is a little bit of a rant, but I don't know why in the fragrance community why there's so much stigma against free things. Any other industry, there's spokespeople, there are salespeople, there's marketers, and on YouTube, there's people who get deals and actually make big contracts all the time, and nobody bats an eye, nobody gets mad. They know who they are, and they're still transparent about it. You can tell if one of these fashion or beauty makeup gurus, if they have a contract, because they're talking about their product all the time, and they have links, and sometimes they are quite honest with their viewership. But you know for some reason, people in the fragrance community want to. There's are not everyone. I don't want to generalize. There's a small, probably very vocal minority who really want to keep things. It's kind of down in a way, because if there aren't people like me who will accept free product, there's no way that I even would have access to this fragrance. I didn't know where to buy it. I didn't know how to get it. I definitely couldn't afford it at the time. If I didn't work with them, I wouldn't be able to bring this brand to you and share this brand with you. And there's some people out there who think that my reputation is sullied, dragged through the mud, or they think that I should just never accept anything. And everybody has different ethics and opinions, and I respect everybody. There's big reviewers and bigger reviewers, and some of them have never accepted really much of anything for free, and that's their thing, and I respect them for it. But I don't know. I would like to make this possibly as an aspect of my career, and I want to be an indie perfumer. I'm at a point in my life. Hopefully, I can have a career, but I've dropped almost everything in my life to really review. Y'all see that I do reviews almost every day, and I'm about to do reviews every day to really try to build up my YouTube and try to grow. So this is something I want to do. I love YouTube. I care about YouTube. Um, and I've struggled before. It says Nard. How do you say your name, my friend? Nard Ignick. Says hello, Ben. Hello there. Callie Reviews is in the house. Hey, Callie. I appreciate you, my friend. We need to do another live, maybe on Instagram. We need to see what we can do. I've been busy, and I've been trying to interview some perfumers and all, but you're a cool guy too. Um, Nardnik says, "What got you into fragrances?" I've kind of shared my story a few times, really quick before, but I started quite late in life. I kind of got into fragrances at college. Um, what got me into fragrances is really I just went to the mall. I was at college. I really had never had a fragrance in my teens and my youth. Was never gifted anything. Never really saw or smelled particularly any fragrance on anybody. My mom had a few perfumes here and there, but she rarely wore them. And when she did, she really undersprayed them. So I wasn't really brought up to like seek out things, and I didn't get a lot of freedom. So I never really got to wander around the mall with friends to small Aqua di Gio. I think I smelled some at the arcade one time, but I never really got to explore anything that way. I was gifted a can of Axe once or twice, but I really didn't like it too much. And I had my brothers, and they went through the stuff fast, so I just gave it to them. I gave my Axe away. But I thought sometimes it was smelled interesting. Expect like the new Apollo when I smelled that. Before I got into perfumes, I used to think Apollo smelled kind of good. But of course, you grow up. Like the first time, you smell anything, and then your nose matures. But it was at the mall, and I just wanted to smell some things. I was at, I think it was probably a Dillard's or something, and I got a really good raincoat on clearance. an amazing deal, and they had it set up where you could easily see the fragrances. And I said, I've never really smelled fragrances before. I've never done this. So just like anybody doing anything their first time, I just went AWOL, and I just tried everything. I really liked Polo Red. That was one of the first fragrances I ever bought. Um, and Versace Pour Homme was one of the first fragrances I ever bought. Before that, I think I might have walked into a Ross. I talk about that sometimes I did get into cheapies a little bit, but I did kind of have a cheapie phase, but I never bought more than 20 cheapies. I never bought more. I never got into that zone. And I'm not dissing any reviewers who did buy hundreds or 100 or 200, 300, 400 cheapies. That's not really my thing. But I do like cheapies. There are some amazing deals to be found out there. Some forgotten fragrances and some fragrances, you know, once they get discontinued, the people who liked them and love them, they still seek them out for a reason. And sometimes their prices, they just go crazy. Y'all know that. But anyways, that's how I got started. I just went to the mall, and it was really on my own. I wasn't pulled in YouTube by Jeremy or anything like that. I actually went on and just Googled uh, fragrances. I didn't go to YouTube first. I went on Google, and I found Fragrantica, and I was actually there for a good long while on Fragrantica. And on Fragrantica, I had a fun time. There is a certain culture there, and I'm still not sure if I understand the culture of Fragrantica. They seem to really like some. There's a lot of them. Maybe the majority like the more vintage fragrances, and nothing's wrong with that. I'm not crazy about Dior Sauvage or Invictus myself, but a lot of them really kind of put down on the newer stuff and kind of really like the older stuff. So there's that culture there, and then there's kind of things aren't authorized much on Fragrantica. There's not really a way for them to. You have to enter an email to make a profile, but you can vote any way you want, and sometimes you can vote multiple times if you know what to do. And it's things have upvotes when they're not even released, which is ridiculous. And sometimes there's newer brands, and you can tell that they have a friend or they put a little review up there, and where they hype up where they hype it up, and you can tell that that's not really, it's a person who bought the fragrance. Anyways, that's where I started. Then I went to YouTube. I think I did see Jeremy Fragrance. I used to watch him when he did some top 10 list. I watched him a little bit. I'm not trying to diss him. When he was hyping up and talking about La Nuit de l'Homme, and used to talk about some hidden gems and some things there here and there. And I did watch him a little bit, but quite quickly, I wanted to hear other reviews, and I thought there were other interesting fragrances and fragrance reviewers. I really like Street Scents. Coach Rob was a really good guy. My Mickers, of course, if y'all remember him. I'm trying to remember some others. Adolescence. I used to watch Max Forte an awful lot. He's still a good guy, but anyways, that's really where I started. And now I watch just about everybody. Really, I do, and I try to comment as much as I can. And there's people who come and go all the time, and sometimes people just don't talk about him. Like that fragrance, he had 10,000, and where'd he go? And that guy, Isaac Gutierrez, I'm sure y'all remember him with his sister, like Erica, and trying to remember the other one. It was like Erica and Yasmin, something like that. Anyways, they have a whole story that went on, and their channel, their YouTube channel, was connected to a school email, which they couldn't recover. And I tried to encourage them, but they didn't see my messages, and maybe they didn't want to go through the effort to download all their videos before their channel was taken away and re-upload them. And now you can find them. They're called Fragrance Fam, but they only uploaded one video and they haven't come back. I love them. I loved that fragrance. He was a really cool guy. That fragrance, he had like 10,000. subs. Triple, I think it's Triple Ink, pops in and out sometimes. He's a really cool guy. Um, that's just where I started. Then I started reviewing because I really wanted to highlight the longevity of the fragrances. What I do, I talk about the smell, the projection, the longevity, the compliment factor, and the price. I felt like I could put my voice out there. I thought that a lot of those are the kind. So I've heard some people say that I'm mechanical and cold, and I do need to be more friendly, and maybe I could be a little bit more of a bunch of laughs. Maybe y'all would like that. Let me know below. I'm gonna read your comments soon. I'm sorry. I'm not. I haven't read. You have some comments down there I haven't read yet. But you know, I'm me, and I feel like I could help that way because I think a lot of people are looking for that information. What is the smell? Then that's what I look for in a review. Sometimes I watch a full 15-minute review and I sit back and say, I don't know the notes. I don't really know how it smells. I don't know how long it lasts. I don't know what other people are going to think about the fragrance. And I don't know what the price is. What did I do with my 15 minutes of time? So that's one reason I started my channel. I wanted to help people out. So, and nothing against other people. There's different ways of reviewing. There's different styles, and everybody out there has a great voice, and I care about them, and they do good content. Everybody has different content that they like. Um, let's see here. What's the story behind your username? Um, I'm sorry. I see all these comments. I got to get to these. I'll shorten this up quick and sweet. My username is a centaur, in mythology, like, Roman and Greek, half man, half horse. And I just thought it was a funny, interesting name. A centaur and scent, where you're kind of a person, mixed with scent. It's a part of who you are. So I'm the centaur. I'm part man, part scent. And I thought it was interesting. I thought it was funny. I know some people don't get it. Maybe I should change my username. Let me know if you want to change my username on YouTube, because maybe that's not that thing that's not helping me very much. Meaning exclusive niche fragrances. Do you want to know what niche fragrances I like, which ones I own? Let me know. Callie says, best of luck on your journey. Thank you, Callie Fragrances. And it's not easy. Callie Fragrances has been at this for a while, too. And he doesn't have a big viewer count. And it's a real struggle these days. Marcus says, yeah, fingers crossed for you, Ben. I'm sure your content gets noticed in Fragcom. Got our dog there. Harry Iglesias says, cool to lose your at Dillard's with a new raincoat. Yeah, that's an experience, man. Callie says, I rarely buy anything under 20. Yeah, and I'm not dissing the people who like cheapies. I really hope that I didn't sound that way. But, I like fragrances, and I do like some of the cheapies. I think Zurius Rouge is an amazing fragrance for the money, but that one's closer to 30. I think Moschino Umo, off the top of my head, is close to a $20 fragrance. I think Baldessarini Private Affairs, that one's quite light, but it smells kind of like Ombre Leather by Tom Ford, is a great fragrance. There are some good cheapies out there. There are some very good fragrances that are just, need to be dusted off, found. But there's also a lot of really redundant fragrances. Fragrances that are repeats. Fragrances, a brand put out the same fragrance as anybody else to follow a trend, or just repeat just put out a new name and it looks like a new fragrance, but there's not much different about it. There's nothing special about it, or, so nothing against the cheapies, but, I'm going more towards indie personally. Callie review says, I agree with the fact that most of the older stuff is better than the newer stuff. Yeah, it really depends for me. Oak moss and green fragrances, and some of those fragrances are really nice. I think that there's a lot of really good fragrances. It's just hard to keep up with all the brands and all the new releases. I wouldn't say that, I that's just like looking towards the past and saying that old stuff from the past used to be better, with anything. Sometimes it's true, like to a degree, like with cars, I'm sure you all know, sometimes they make things not to last. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of good fragrances coming out, a lot of good brands, a lot more indie, and there's a lot more niche than we've ever had before. Abram says Abram is really good too. Yeah, he's a great guy. Marcus says, yeah, you're present in comment sections of frag channels. Yeah, I try to comment and I try to be active on everybody's channel. I try to say hello and share my thoughts and build up everybody in the fragrance community. I know it takes a lot of time. I wish there was a little bit more of that. You know, a little bit of community. I'm gonna try to do another collaboration, a holiday collaboration. Hopefully, y'all really enjoy those. Harry says I would like to do a Spanish version of Street Sense in Latin America. Do it, Harry. Do it, man. Um, you know, internationally, I don't speak a lot of other languages, but there are some other really big fragrance reviewers, and that's just one of the points I was trying to make tonight. A lot of the fragrance community doesn't seem to see outside of the scope of what they're used to or what they like. So there's a huge Spanish reviewer. I think he has over 100,000, or maybe he has like 200,000. I forget. And there's a couple other guys in different countries, and they're doing really good work, and they have great content. And there's another guy. I think he's Spanish, and he was inspired by my channel to start his own, and he actually has 4,000. So he's way bigger than I am. He's doubled me. He's doubled me in like 6 months or a year or something in half the time, and he's doubled me. So there's room for you. What I'm saying is I'm not complaining. What I'm saying is there's room for you. There's room in the fragrance community, and also I think a lot of content creators and YouTube should really be trying to pull people, grassroots work, and try to get more people involved with the community. And again, I'm not trying to take shots at other reviewers, but there seems to be a lot of them who keep using the same ideas. Taking ideas from other reviewers and not really doing their own thing. Maybe they think people want to see that content. Maybe they think it's really popular content. But I would like to see a little bit more creativity that way. And I think that's everybody's with their different personalities, and what they add, who they are as an individual, is really going to pull people in, and that's who's going to help you build your audience. That's what's going to work. If you try to copy somebody else's, something as simple as a fragrance rotation every week, that might work for you. But if you do other things like that, if it's not your idea, if it doesn't work for you with your personality, I wish that other reviewers, perhaps would do their own thing a little bit more. Harry says, yeah. So I'm just saying, Harry, go for it. There's room for you. It's not easy to be a reviewer, but there's room for you. There's a lot. You can have success. You can find it, but it's just not easy at first. You'll see that you have 10 views on your first video. You'll see that you have 10 subs in a week or 2 weeks, and it might not be easy at first. You might not have any comments in your comments section. It's not easy at first, but you can make it. Mr. Miami Cuddles says, good job, Ben. I've been lurking for an hour. Hey, Mr. Miami Cuddles. I was wondering who were some of those lurkers. I wish that, I guess it's complaining, but I wish that more, of people who watch would comment, because I love the comments. I love to see y'all and have a conversation. But I guess some people just want to watch me. They want to watch me in the deep corners and squint at me. Marcus says, Iglesias, many reviewers want to know how a scent smells and is perceived to normal people and how it performs in the high heat. Yeah, Where you live, that's another thing. Where you live is going to be a big aspect of your fragrance review. I'm in the South where there's a lot more humidity, and that is definitely an aspect of things, and it's high heat a lot of the time of the year. You can, help people know, locally, somebody might live in your area. Some people might, have tastes similar to you, and you're going to pull people in who have similar taste to you, who like similar things to you, and you're going to help people smell great. For your kind of people. You're gonna find your tribe. You're gonna find your people, and you're gonna help them out. And that's what I'm trying to do. I don't know how many, you know, you know, I don't know, middle-ish class, trying to be middle class Southern people there are out there. I don't know. Let's see here. Let me look at the comments. Marcus says, "Hi Neil. What state do you live in?" I try to keep that private. Some people might know. I'm in the South. You can probably guess it's quite a poor state, one of the poorest states in the USA, and that's one reason I want to leave. I'm not near any boutiques. I'm not anywhere close to any niche. I have to pay for all my samples, and I to smell anything I've ever smelled, I've paid money. I paid $5, $10 for everything. And that's one reason that I've started trying to work with brands, because I've pretty much spit myself broke on samples. I know it sounds funny. I know it sounds ridiculous. But Harry says, X Rouge, where my journey started. Was that a fragrance? Which one was that? Harry says, so happy it has not been discontinued. Harry says, yeah, Marcus, I could do it in Spanish and add English subtitles. That would work. Oh, Gavinci Zurius Rouge. Was that your first fragrance? I love that one. I talk about it quite a bit too. You might be my only Zurius Rouge fan that I've ever found. I love that fragrance. Harry says, yeah, you could do subtitles. That would work. I think a part of it is that you have to review popular designers for what people are searching for. That's very true. These big brands put millions in advertisements, and they pull people in. And that's one reason, if you talk about the Bleu de Chanel, if you talk about Dior Sauvage, if you talk about Creative Ventus, these brands put millions behind advertising, pull people in, and people want to hear about those fragrances. And the average person probably wants to buy those fragrances. So that helps you get a lot of views. Maybe I should do more content like that. Maybe I can find an interesting spin on it to make it fun and interesting. But I'm not. I personally just sometimes I feel like I don't want to do a review of Sauvage, because everything's been said 10 times over, 100 times, and just about I feel that everybody knows about it. But there are a lot of people out there who don't even know what Dior Sauvage is. And again, that's one of the points I was trying to make, is that outside of the fragrance community, sometimes we don't see what the average person is like, and sometimes we lose that perspective, because if you go to your average, school, if you go to your average college, if you, I don't know, go to a rural place in Minnesota, again, nothing against people in Minnesota, Ohio, whatever, and you say, have you ever heard of Dior Sauvage? I don't know. They might never even have heard of it before. They might have never even smelled it. So, there's people who still are getting into the game, and some people are just happy with Dior Sauvage, and they might wear it as their signature scent forever. That's not my thing, but kudos to them if that's what they want to do. Mr. Miami says, I love lurking. You're the guy watching in the shadows, man. Marcus says, lol. Harry says, Gavinci. That's easy, my first one. Oh, yeah, man. It's a great fragrance. And it smells kind of classic, but it's still very wearable. I get kind of a cactus feeling from it. Do you get a cactus smell? And I love it. I'm crazy about Zurius Rouge. I don't like reviewing stuff that has been reviewed a million times. I don't either, Callie. But that really does get reviews. It's funny that works. How that works. And some of these guys, there's a few reviewers, and I'm not trying to take shots. Kudos to them if they want to have their success. But, sometimes they do top 10 list every once in a while, and they always mention, like Blue de Chanel, Sauvage, Aventus. They mention those kinds of fragrances, and hey, I guess it works. But it says people know what's on billboards and at the mall. Yeah, that's what people know about. That's what people have heard of before. Don't really know what's cactus smells like, mate. Yeah, cactus is kind of like a fresh, watery green smell. If you've never had smelled cactus, and some people actually eat it. Some people, take off the skin and actually grill it, and it tastes like, almost like something like a weird, interesting cucumber. Anyways, we're talking about fragrance, and I'm losing people because I'm talking about cactus. Anyways, this is what you get when you come on a live with Benjamin at the Centadar Fragrance channel. They'll talk about anything and everything, pretty much. Um, Anyways, I love the smell of cactus. I do. And there's one was called like cacti, and I just smelled that one. The same brand makes like glass blooms. The brand's not coming to my mind right now. Anyways, I like that fragrance as well. Let's see here. Callie says, I like drinking cactus water and eating lots of cactus. Yeah, Callie reviews. He knows what's up. You probably have some of that aloe vera soda too, don't you? I that stuff's cool. That stuff's interesting. It's a different taste. It's different for sure. Um, Marcus says, yeah, ha ha ha. So, anyways, in closing, since we talked about cactus, and if you like spices, if you like spices of life, if you like interesting things, um, get some new spices. Buy some if you're on Amazon. If you're buying, I don't know where you shop, but buy something new. Buy something interesting. Buy something that's going to add a little bit of something different to your life. Smell and not only smell unique, but maybe eat something unique. If you've never had curry before, try some curry. If you've never had a soap outside of something you could buy at Walmart, I introduced some artisan soaps. Try something different. That's what I think is fun. I think trying new things, experiencing new things, and just getting out there and having fun. That's what life is all about. So, thank y'all so much for being here. I think I'm going to wrap this up. I think I've been on here for over an hour. And again, if you got here kind of late and you didn't get to see, I introduced Naomi Paris. This is a first impressions. I promised them that I would do a review. So I'm going to do a review later this week. But really interesting brand, interesting fragrances. I am liking this fragrance a lot more. The opening almost scared me away with a really dry kind of interesting spiciness. But the dry down is a nice spiced smooth leather. So I am liking the fragrance quite a lot. Try Bath and Body Works shower gels. Yeah, you could try that out. That might be, the first thing you want to do before diving into the organic stuff or the really expensive stuff with like the goat's milk and the oatmeal and honey and all kinds of other stuff out there. Maybe you just want to dive into something like that. Go to your Bath and Body Works. Buy some nice maybe hand soap or shampoo. I would recommend that you maybe try to go and find higher quality stuff for your money. But I mean, some people love it. If you love Bath and Body Works, nothing's wrong with it. But anyways, I think I'm going to wrap this up, guys. I really do appreciate y'all so much for being here. If YouTube does pull people in to my lives that aren't subscribed, I guess I'm just going to say this for kicks and giggles. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share the video, tell a friend. And I know some people really don't like that I say that, but I gotta say it because some people forget, some people need motivation, and some people just don't know that that's something that would help me out. And I am trying to become successful as a fragrance reviewer or YouTuber in general, so thank y'all so much for being here. I really do appreciate you. Marcus says, nice live stream and good night, everybody. Have a nice weekend. Yeah, have a nice weekend, everybody. Have a good time, party it up, but be safe. Be very safe. And I'll see y'all next time. Wear what you love. And I have a lot more fantastic content coming your way. I have all kinds of samples, all kinds of niche fragrances, this brand to talk about, Incense, my documentary series. I have so much to talk about in the future. So Be looking forward to it. Thank y'all so much for being here. I appreciate you, loyal 8 people, whoever you are out there, including you, Mr. Miami Cuddles. I appreciate you, and I'll see y'all next time. Have a good one. Have a good weekend, and bye, my friends.